Article 210, Branch Circuits, 210.1 Scope. This article provides the general requirements for branch circuits. 210.3 Other articles for specific purpose branch circuits. General and grounded conductors at the point where the branch circuit originates. Informational. Note, see 240.15b for information on the use of single-pole circuit breakers as the disconnecting means. See line to neutral loads. Multi-wire branch circuits shall supply only line to neutral loads. Exception no. 1. A multi-wire branch circuit that supplies only one utilization equipment. Exception no. 2. Where all ungrounded conductors of the multi-wire branch circuit are opened simultaneously by the branch circuit overcurrent device. Degrouping, then grounded and grounded circuit. Conductors of each multi-wire branch circuit shall be grouped in accordance with 200.4b. 210.5 Identification for branch circuits. A grounded conductor. The grounded conductor of a branch circuit shall be identified in accordance with 200.6. b. Equipment grounding conductor. The equipment grounding conductor shall be identified in accordance with 250.119. C. Identification of ungrounded conductors. And grounded conductors shall be identified in accordance with 210.5 C1 or 2, as applicable. One branch circuit supplied from more than one nominal voltage system, where the premises wiring system has branch circuits supplied from more than one nominal voltage system. Each ungrounded conductor of a branch circuit shall be identified by phase or line end system at all termination, connection, and splice points in compliance with 210.5 C1a and b. A means of identification. The means of identification shall be permitted to be by separate color coding, marking tape, tagging, or other approved means. B. Posting of identification means. The method utilized for conductors originating within each branch circuit panel board or similar branch circuit distribution equipment shall be documented in a manner that is readily available or shall be permanently posted at each branch circuit panel board or similar branch circuit distribution equipment. Table 210.3 Specific Purpose Branch Circuits. Equipment Article Section Air Conditioning and Refrigerating Equipment. Central heating equipment other than fixed electric. 440.6, 440.31. Busways. Fixed electric heating equipment for pipelines and vessels. Fixed electric space heating equipment. 440. 30 to 368.17. 420 to 0.1 to 427.4. 424.3. 426.4. 408.5 to space heating equipment. Fixed outdoor electrical dicing and snow melting equipment. Infrared lamp. Industrial heating equipment. Motors, motor circuits, and 430. Controllers, switchboards, and panel boards. 420 to 0.48. 424.3. Sufficient durability to withstand the environment involved, and the label shall be of shall not be handwritten. Exception: in existing installations where a voltage system S already exists and a different voltage system is being added, it shall be permissible to mark only the new system voltage. Existing unidentified systems shall not be required to be identified at each termination, connection, and splice point in compliance with 210.5 C1a and b. Labeling shall be required at each voltage system distribution equipment to identify that only one voltage system has been marked for a new system S. The new system label S shall include the words other unidentified systems exist on the premises, to branch circuits supplied from direct current systems. Where a branch circuit is supplied from a DC system operating at more than 60 volts, each ungrounded conductor of 4 AWG or larger shall be identified by polarity at all termination, connection, and splice points by marking tape, tagging, or other approved means. Each ungrounded conductor of 6 AWG or smaller shall be identified by polarity at all termination, connection, and splice points in compliance with 210.5 C2a and b. The identification methods utilizedral provisions. Table 210.3 lists references for specific equipment and applications not located in chapters 5, 6, and 7 that meant that this article. 210. For multi-wire branch circuits, amend or supple. A general branch circuits recognized by this article shall be permitted as multi-wire circuits. A multi-wire circuit shall be permitted to be considered as multiple circuits. All conductors of a multi-wire branch circuit shall originate from the same panel board or similar. Distribution equipment. Informational note no. 1. A 3-phase, 4-wire. Y-connected power system used to supply power to nonlinear loads may necessitate that the power system design allow for the possibility of high harmonic C. Currents on the neutral conductor. Informational note no. 2. See 300.13b for continuity of grounded conductors on multi-wire circuits. B. Disconnecting means. Each multi-wire branch circuit shall be provided with a means that will simultaneously disconnect requirements of nominal 600-volt systems without the connection to a similar grounded conductor. 210.10 in grounded conductors tapped from grounded systems. 2-wire DC circuits and AC circuits of 2 or more ungrounded conductors shall be permitted to be tapped from the ungrounded conductors of circuits that have a grounded neutral conductor. Switching devices in each tapped circuit shall have a pole in each ungrounded conductor. All poles of multi-pole switching devices shall manually switch together where such switching devices also serve as a disconnecting means as required by the following. 1. 410.93 for double pole switch lamp holders to 410.10 for B for electric discharge lamp auxiliary equipment switching devices 3 for 31B for an appliance for 420 for 0.20 for a fixed electric space heating unit 5 426.51 for electric dicing and snow melting equipment 6 for 3085 for a motor controller 7 for 30103 for a motor. 210.11c. A number of branch circuits. The minimum number of branch circuits shall be determined from the total calculated load and the size or rating of the circuits used. In all installations, the number of circuits shall be sufficient to supply the load served. In no case shall the load on any circuit exceed the maximum specified by 220.18. B. Load evenly proportioned among branch circuits. Where the load is calculated on the basis of volt-amperes per square meter or per square foot. The wiring system up to and including the branch circuit panel board S shall be provided to serve not less than the calculated load. This load shall be evenly proportioned among multi-outlet branch circuits within the panel board S. Branch circuit overcurrent devices and circuits shall be required to be installed only to serve the connected load. C. Dwelling units. 1. Small appliance branch circuits. In addition to the number of branch circuits required by other parts of this section, 2 or more 20A small appliance branch circuits shall be provided for all receptacle outlets specified by 210.5 to B. To laundry branch circuits. In addition to the number of branch circuits required by other parts of this section, at least one additional 20A branch circuit shall be provided to supply the laundry receptacle outlet as required by 210.52F. This circuit shall have no other outlets. 3. Bathroom branch circuits. In addition to the number of branch circuits required by other parts of this section, at least one 120-volt, 20A branch circuit shall be provided to supply the bathroom S receptacle outlet S. Such circuits shall have no other outlets. Exception, where the 20A circuit supplies a single bathroom, outlets for other equipment within the same bathroom shall be permitted to be supplied in accordance with 210.2301 and a 2. And for garage branch circuits, in addition to the number of branch circuits required by other parts of this section, at least one 120-volt, 20A branch circuit shall be installed to supply receptacle outlets in attached garages and in detached garages with electric power. This circuit shall have no other outlets. Exception. Circuit shall be permitted to supply readily accessible outdoor receptacle outlets. 210.12 Arc fault circuit interrupter protection. Arc fault circuit interrupter protection shall be provided as required in 210.12 of B and C. The arc fault circuit interrupter shall be installed in a readily accessible location. A dwelling units. All 120-volt, single-phase, 1.5 and 20A branch circuit supplying outlets or devices installed in dwelling unit kitchens, family rooms, dining rooms, living rooms, parlors, libraries, dens, bedrooms, sunrooms, recreation rooms, closets, hallways, laundry areas, or similar rooms or areas shall be protected by any of the means described in 210.121 through 6. 1. A listed combination type arc fault circuit interrupter, installed to provide protection. of the entire branch circuit. To a listed branch, a feeder type AFCI installed at the origin of the branch circuit in combination with a listed outlet branch circuit type arc fault circuit interrupter installed at the first outlet box on the branch circuit. The first outlet box in the branch circuit shall be marked to indicate that it is the first outlet of the circuit. 3. A listed supplemental arc protection circuit breaker installed at the origin of the branch circuit in combination with a listed outlet branch circuit type arc fault circuit interrupter installed at the first outlet box on the branch circuit where all of the following conditions are met. A. The branch circuit wiring shall be continuous from the branch circuit overcurrent device to the outlet branch circuit arc fault circuit interrupter. B. The maximum length of the branch circuit wiring from the branch circuit overcurrent device to the first outlet shall not exceed 15.2 meters 50 feet for a 14 AWG conductor or 21.3 meters 70 feet for a 12 AWG conductor. C. The first outlet box in the branch circuit shall be marked to indicate that it is the first outlet of the circuit. For a listed outlet branch circuit type arc fault circuit interrupter installed at the first outlet on the branch circuit in combination with a listed branch circuit overcurrent protective device where all of the following conditions are met. 210.11 Branch circuits required. Branch circuits for lighting and for appliances, including motor-operated appliances, shall be provided to supply the loads calculated in accordance with 220.10. In addition, branch circuits shall be provided for specific loads not covered by 220.10 where required elsewhere in this code and for dwelling unit loads as specified in A. B. The branch circuit wiring shall be continuous from the branch circuit overcurrent device to the outlet branch circuit arc fault circuit interrupter. The maximum length of the branch circuit wiring from the branch circuit overcurrent device to the first outlet shall not exceed 15.2 meters 50 feet for a 14 AWG conductor or 21.3 meters 70 feet for a 12 AWG conductor. C. The first outlet box in the branch circuit shall be marked to indicate that it is the first outlet of the circuit. D. The combination of the branch circuit overcurrent device and outlet branch circuit AFCI shall be identified as meeting the requirements for a system combination type AFCI and shall be listed as such. 5. If RMC, IMC, EMT type MC, or steel armored type AC cables meeting the requirements of 250.118, metal wireways, metal auxiliary gutters, and metal outlet and junction boxes are installed for the portion of the branch circuit between the branch circuit overcurrent device and the first outlet. It shall be permitted to install a listed outlet branch circuit type AFCI at the first outlet to provide protection for the remaining portion of the branch circuit. 6. Where a listed metal or non-metallic conduit or tubing or type MC cable is encased in not less than 50 mm 2 in of concrete for the portion of the branch circuit between the branch circuit overcurrent device and the first outlet. It shall be permitted to install a listed outlet branch circuit type AFCI at the first outlet to provide protection for the remaining portion of the branch circuit. Exception: where an individual branch circuit to a fire alarm system installed in accordance with 760.41b or 760.121b is installed in RMC, IMC, EMT, or steel sheath cable, type AC or type MC, meeting the requirements of 250.118, with metal outlet and junction boxes. AFCI protection shall be permitted to be omitted. Informational note no. 1. For information on combination type and branch feeder type arc fault circuit interrupters, see UL 1699-2011, Standard for Arc Fault Circuit Interrupters. For information on outlet branch circuit type arc fault circuit interrupters, see UL Subject 1699A. Outline of investigation for outlet branch circuit arc fault circuit interrupters. For information on system combination AFCs, see UL Subject 1699C. Outline of investigation for system combination arc fault circuit interrupters. Informational note no. 2. C 29.6. 3.5 of NFP is 70-2013, National Fire Alarm and Signaling Code, for information related to secondary power supply requirements for smoke alarms installed in dwelling units. Informational note no. 3. C 760.41b and 760.121b for power supply requirements for fire alarm systems. B. Dormitory units. All 120-volt, single-phase, 1.5 and 20-ampere branch circuit supplying outlets and devices installed in dormitory unit bedrooms, living rooms, hallways, closets, and similar rooms shall be protected by any of the through 6 and C guest rooms and guest suites. All 120-volt, single-phase, 1.5 and 20-ampere branch circuit supplying outlets and devices installed in guest rooms and guest suites of hotels and motels shall be protected by any of the means described in 210.1 to 1 through 6. D. Branch circuit extensions or modifications, dwelling units and dormitory units. In any of the areas specified in 210.12 or B, where branch circuit wiring is modified, replaced, or extended, the branch circuit shall be protected by one of the following. 1. A listed combination type AFCI located at the origin of the branch circuit to a listed outlet branch circuit type AFCI located at the first receptacle outlet of the existing branch circuit. Exception: AFCI protection shall not be required where the extension of the existing conductors is not more than 1.8 meters 6 feet and does not include any additional outlets or devices. 210.13 Ground fault protection of equipment. Each branch a circuit disconnect rated 1000 A or more and installed on solidly grounded while electrical systems of more than 150 volts to ground, but not exceeding 600 volts face-to-phase, shall be provided with ground fault protection of equipment in accordance with the provisions of 230.95. Informational note: for buildings that contain healthcare occupancies, see the requirements of 517.17. Exception no. 1. The provisions of this section shall not apply to a disconnecting means for a continuous industrial process where an unorderly shutdown will introduce additional or increased hazards. Exception no. 2. The provisions of this section shall not apply if ground fault protection of equipment is provided on the supply side of the branch circuit and on the load side of any transformer supplying the branch circuit. 210.17 Guest rooms and guest suites. Guest rooms and guest suites that are provided with permanent provisions for cooking shall have branch circuits installed to meet the rules for dwelling units. Part 2. Branch circuit ratings. N210.18 rating. Branch circuits recognized by this article shall be rated in accordance with the maximum permitted ampere rating or setting of the overcurrent device. The rating for other than individual branch circuits shall be 15, 20, 30, 40, and 50 amperes. Where conductors of higher ampacity are used for any reason, the ampere rating or setting of the specified overcurrent device shall determine the circuit rating. Exception: multi-outlet branch circuits greater than 50 amperes shall be permitted to supply non-lighting outlet loads on industrial premises where conditions of maintenance and supervision ensure that only qualified persons service the equipment. 210.19 Conductors minimum ampacity and size. A branch circuit's not more than 600 volts. Informational note no. 1. See 310.15 for ampacity ratings of conductors. Informational note no. 2. See Part 2 of Article 430 for minimum rating of motor branch circuit conductors. Informational note no. 3. See 310.15 a 3 for temperature limitation of conductors. Informational note no. 4. Conductors for branch circuits as defined in Article 100. Size to prevent a voltage drop exceeding 3% at the farthest outlet of power, heating, and lighting loads, or combinations of such loads, and where the maximum total voltage drop on both feeders and branch circuits to the farthest outlet does not exceed 5%, provide reasonable efficiency of operation. See Informational Note No. 2 of 215.201 for voltage drop on feeder conductors. 1. General. Branch circuit conductors shall have an ampacity not less than the maximum load to be served. Conductors shall be sized to carry not less than the larger of 210.1901 A or B. Where a branch circuit supplies continuous loads or any combination of continuous and non-continuous loads, the minimum branch circuit conductor size shall have an allowable ampacity not less than the non-continuous load plus 125% of the continuous load. B. The minimum branch circuit conductor size shall have an allowable ampacity not less than the maximum load to be served after the application of any adjustment or correction factors. Exception: if the assembly, including the overcurrent devices protecting the branch circuit S, is listed for operation at 100% of its rating. The allowable ampacity of the branch circuit conductors shall be permitted to be not less than the sum of the continuous load plus the non-continuous load to branch circuits with more than one receptacle. Conductors of branch circuits supplying more than one receptacle for cord and plug connected portable loads shall have an ampacity of not less than Th. A rating of the branch circuit. 3. Household ranges and cooking appliances. Branch circuit conductors supplying household ranges, wall-mounted ovens, counter-mounted cooking units, and other household cooking appliances shall have an ampacity not less than the rating of the branch circuit, and not less than the maximum load to be served, for ranges of 83 for kilowatts or more. Rating: the minimum branch circuit rating shall be 40 amperes. Exception no. 1. Conductors tapped from a 50 ampere branch circuit supplying electric ranges, wall-mounted electric ovens, and counter-mounted electric cooking units shall have an ampacity of not less than 20 amperes and shall be sufficient for the load to be served. These tap conductors include any conductors that are a part of the lead supplied with the appliance that are smaller than the branch circuit conductors. The taps shall not be longer than necessary for servicing the appliance. Exception no. 2. The neutral conductor of a 3-wire branch circuit supplying a household electric range, a wall-mounted oven, or a counter-mounted cooking unit shall be permitted to be smaller than the grounded conductors where the maximum demand of a range of 83 kW or more rating has been calculated according to column C of table 220.55, but such conductors shall have an ampacity of not less than 70% of the branch circuit rating and shall not be smaller than 10 AWG. For other loads, branch circuit conductors that supply loads other than those specified in 210.3 and other than cooking appliances as covered in 210.19 shall have an ampacity sufficient for the loads served and shall not be smaller than 14 AWG. Exception no. 1. Tap conductors shall have an ampacity sufficient for the load served. In addition, they shall have an ampacity of not less than 15 for circuits rated less than 40 amperes and not less than 20 for circuits rated at 40 or 50 amperes, and only where these tap conductors supply any of the following loads. A. Individual lamp holders or luminaires with taps extending not longer than 450 mm 18 in. Beyond any portion of the lamp holder or luminaire. B. A luminaire having tap conductors as provided in 410.117C. Individual outlets, other than receptacle outlets, with taps not over 450 mm 18 in. Long. D. Infrared lamp industrial heating appliances. A. Non-heating leads of dicing and snow melting cables and mats. Exception no. 2. Fixture wires and flexible cords shall be permitted to be smaller than 14 AWG as permitted by 240.5. B. Branch circuits over 600 volts. The ampacity of conductors shall be in accordance with 310.15 and 310.60, as applicable. Branch circuit conductors over 600 volts shall be sized in accordance with 210.19 B1 or B2. 1. General. The ampacity of branch circuit conductors shall not be less than 125% of the design potential load of utilization equipment that will be operated simultaneously. 2. Supervised installations. For supervised installations, branch circuit conductor sizing shall be permitted to be determined by qualified persons under engineering supervision. Supervised installations are defined as those portions of a facility where both of the following conditions are met. 1. Conditions of design and installation are provided under engineering supervision. 2. Qualified persons with documented training and experience in over 600-volt systems provide maintenance, monitoring, and servicing of the system. 210.2 Overcurrent Protection. Branch circuit conductors and equipment shall be protected by overcurrent protective devices that have a rating or setting that complies with 210.20 through D. A. Continuous and non-continuous loads. Where a branch circuit supplies continuous loads or any combination of continuous and non-continuous loads, the rating of the overcurrent device shall not be less than the non-continuous load plus 125% of the continuous load. Exception, where the assembly, including the overcurrent devices protecting the branch circuit S, is listed for operation at 100% of its rating. The ampere rating of the overcurrent device shall be permitted to be not less than the sum of the continuous load plus the non-continuous load. B. Conductor protection. Conductors shall be protected in accordance with 240.4. Flexible cords and fixture wires shall be protected in accordance with 240.5. C. Equipment. The rating or setting of the overcurrent protective device shall not exceed that specified in the applicable articles referenced in Table 240.3 for equipment. D. Outlet devices. The rating or setting shall not exceed that specified in 210.21 for outlet devices. 210.21 Outlet devices. Outlet devices shall have an ampere rating that is not less than the load to be served, and shall comply with 210.21 A and B. A. Lamp holders. Where connected to a branch circuit having a rating in excess of 20 amperes, lamp holders shall be of the heavy-duty type. A heavy-duty lamp holder shall have a rating of not less than 660 watts if of the medium type, or not less than 750 watts if of any other type. B. Receptacles. One single receptacle on an individual branch circuit. A single receptacle installed on an individual branch circuit shall have an ampere rating not less than that of the branch circuit. Exception no. 1. A receptacle installed in accordance with 430.81b. Exception no. 2. A receptacle installed exclusively for the use of a cord and plug connected arc welder shall be permitted to have an ampere rating not less than the minimum branch circuit conductor ampacity determined by 630.11 for arc welders. Informational note: see the definition of receptacle in Article 100. To total cord and plug connected load. Where connected to a branch circuit supplying two or more receptacles or outlets, a receptacle shall not supply a total cord and plug a connected load in excess of the maximum specified in Table 210.21b2. To total cord and plug connected load. Where connected to a branch circuit supplying two or more receptacles or outlets, a receptacle shall not supply a total cord and plug a connected load in excess of the maximum specified in Table 210.21b2. 3. Receptacle ratings. Where connected to a branch circuit supplying two or more receptacles or outlets, receptacle ratings shall conform to the values listed in Table 210.21b3, or, where rated higher than 50 amperes, the receptacle rating shall not be less than the branch circuit rating. Exception no. 1. Receptacles installed exclusively for the use of one or more cord and plug connected arc welders shall be permitted to have ampere ratings not less than the minimum branch circuit conductor ampacity determined by 630.11 or B for arc welders. Exception no. 2. The ampere rating of a receptacle installed for electric discharge lighting shall be permitted to be based on 410.6 to C. For range receptacle rating. The ampere rating of a range receptacle shall be permitted to be based on a single range demand load as specified in Table 220.55. 210.2 to permissible loads, individual branch circuits. An individual branch circuit shall be permitted to supply any load for which it is rated, but in no case shall the load exceed the branch circuit ampere rating. 210.23 Permissible loads, multiple outlet branch circuits. In no case shall the load exceed the branch circuit ampere rating. A branch circuit supplying two or more outlets or receptacles shall supply only the load specified according to its size as specified in 210.23 A through D and as summarized in 210.24 and Table 210.24. Table 210.21b to maximum cord and plug connected load to receptacle circuit rating maximum load amperes 15 or 20 15 12 20 20 16 30 30 20 for Table 210. 21b3 receptacle ratings for various size circuits circuit rating amperes receptacle rating. Amperes 15 20 30 40 50 not over 15 15 or 20 30 40 or 50 50 of 15 and 20 ampere branch circuits. A 15 or 20 ampere branch circuit shall be permitted to supply lighting units or other utilization equipment, or a combination of both, and shall comply with 210.301 and A2. Exception: the small appliance branch circuits, laundry branch circuits, and bathroom branch circuits required in a dwelling unit as by 210.11 C1, C2, and C3 shall supply only the receptacle outlets specified in that section. 1. Cord and plug connected equipment not fastened in place. The rating of any 1. Cord and plug connected utilization equipment not fastened in place shall not exceed 80% of the branch circuit ampere rating. 2. Utilization equipment fastened in place. The total rating of utilization equipment fastened in place, other than luminaires, shall not exceed 50% of the branch circuit ampere rating where lighting units, cord and plug connected utilization equipment not fastened in place, or both, are also supplied. B. 30 ampere branch circuits. A 30 ampere branch circuit shall be permitted to supply fixed lighting units with heavy-duty lamp holders in other than a dwelling unit S or utilization equipment in any occupancy, or rating of any 1 cord and a plug connected utilization equipment shall not exceed 80% of the branch circuit ampere rating. C. 40 and 50 ampere branch circuits. A 40 or 50 ampere branch circuit shall be permitted to supply cooking appliances that are fastened in place in any occupancy in other than dwelling units. Such circuits shall be permitted to supply fixed lighting units with heavy-duty lamp holders, infrared heating units, or other utilization equipment. D. Branch circuits larger than 50 amperes. Branch circuits larger than 50 amperes shall supply only non-lighting outlet loads. 210.2 for branch circuit requirements. Summary. The requirements for circuits that have 2 or more outlets, or receptacles, other than the receptacle circuits of 210.11 C1, C2, and C3, are summarized in Table 210.24. This table provides only a summary of minimum requirements. See 210.19, 210.20, and 210.21 for the specific requirements applying to branch circuits. 210.25 Branch circuits in buildings with more than 1 occupancy. A dwelling unit branch circuits. Branch circuits in each dwelling unit shall supply only loads within that dwelling unit, or loads associated only with that dwelling unit. B. Common area branch circuits. Branch circuits installed for the purpose of lighting, central alarm, signal, communications, or other purposes for public or common areas of a two-family dwelling, a multi-family dwelling, or a multi-occupancy building shall not be supplied from equipment that supplies an individual dwelling unit or tenant space. Part 3. Required outlets. 210.50 General. Receptacle outlets shall be installed as specified in 210.52 through 210.64. Informational note: see informative Annex J for information regarding ADA accessibility design. A cord pendants. A cord connector that is supplied by a permanently connected cord pendant shall be considered a receptacle outlet. B. Cord connections. A receptacle outlet shall be installed wherever flexible cords with attachment plugs are used. Where flexible cords are permitted to be permanently connected, receptacles shall be permitted to be emitted for such cords. See appliance receptacle outlets. Appliance receptacle outlets installed in a dwelling unit for specific appliances, such as laundry equipment, shall be installed within 1.8 meters 6 feet of the intended location of the appliance. 210.5 to dwelling unit receptacle outlets. This section provides requirements for 125 volt, 15 and 20 ampere receptacle outlets. The receptacles required by this section shall be in addition to any receptacle that is one part of a luminaire or appliance, or to controlled by a wall switch in accordance with 210.701, exception no. 1, or 3 located within cabinets or cupboards, or for located more than 1.7 meters 51 feet above the floor permanently installed electric baseboard heaters equipped with factory installed receptacle outlets or outlets provided as a separate assembly by the manufacturer shall be permitted as the required outlet or outlets for the wall space utilized by such permanently installed heaters. Such receptacle outlets shall not be connected to the heater circuits. Informational note: listed baseboard heaters include instructions that may not permit their installation below receptacle outlets. At general provisions. In every kitchen, family room, dining room, living room, parlor, library, den, sunroom, bedroom, recreation room, or similar room or area of dwelling units. Receptacle outlets shall be installed in accordance with the general provisions specified in 210.5 to 1 through 4. 1. Spacing. Receptacles shall be installed such that no point measured horizontally along the floor line of any wall space is more than 1.8 meters 6 feet from a receptacle outlet. 2. Wall space. As used in this section, a wall space shall include the following. 1. Any space 600 millimeters to feet or more in width, including space measured around corners and unbroken along the floor line by doorways and similar openings, fireplaces, and fixed cabinets that do not have countertops or similar work surfaces to the space occupied by fixed panels and walls, excluding sliding panels. 3. The space afforded by fixed room dividers, such as free standing bar-type counters or railings. 3. Floor receptacles. Receptacle outlets in or on floors shall not be counted as part of the required number of receptacle outlets unless located within 450 mm 18 in of the wall. For countertop. Receptacles installed for countertop surfaces as specified in 210.5 to C shall not be considered as the receptacle outlets required by 210.5 to B. Small appliances. 1. Receptacle outlet served in the kitchen, pantry, breakfast room, dining room, or similar area of a dwelling unit. The 2 or more 20 ampere small appliance branch circuits required by 210.11 C1 shall serve all wall and floor receptacle outlets covered by 210.5 to all countertop outlets covered by 210.5 to C, and receptacle outlets for refrigeration equipment. Exception no. 1. In addition to the required receptacles specified by 210.5 to switched receptacles supplied from a general-purpose branch circuit as defined in 210.701. Exception no. 1. Shall be permitted. Exception no. 2. Shall be permitted to be supplied from an individual branch circuit rated 15 amperes or greater. To no other outlets. The 2 or more small appliance branch circuits specified in 210.5 to B1 shall have no other outlets. Exception no. 1. A receptacle installed solely for the electrical supply to and support of an electric clock in any of the rooms specified in 210.50 to B1. Exception no. 2. Receptacles installed to provide power for supplemental equipment and lighting on gas-fired ranges, ovens, or counter-mounted cooking units. 3. Kitchen receptacle requirements. Receptacles installed in a kitchen to serve countertop surfaces shall be supplied by not fewer than 2 small appliance branch circuits, either or both of which shall also be permitted to supply receptacle outlets in the same kitchen and in other rooms specified in 210.5 to B1. Additional small appliance branch circuits shall be permitted to supply receptacle outlets in the kitchen and other rooms specified in 210.5 to B1. No small appliance branch circuit shall serve more than one kitchen. See countertops and work surfaces. In kitchens, pantries, breakfast rooms, dining rooms, and similar areas of dwelling units, receptacle outlets for countertop and work surfaces shall be installed in accordance with 210.5 to C1 through C5. 1. Wall countertop and work surface. A receptacle outlet shall be installed at each wall countertop and work surface that is 300 mm 12 in or wider. Receptacle outlets shall be installed so that no point along the wall line is more than 600 mm 24 in, measured horizontally from a receptacle outlet in that space. Exception: receptacle outlets shall not be required on a wall directly behind a range, counter-mounted cooking unit, or sink in the installation described in Figure 210.5 to C1. 2. Island countertop spaces. At least one receptacle shall be installed at each island countertop space with a long dimension of 600 mm 24 in or greater and a short dimension of 300 mm 12 in or greater. 3. Peninsular countertop spaces. At least one receptacle outlet shall be installed at each peninsular countertop long dimension space with a long dimension of 600 mm 24 in or greater and a short dimension of 300 mm 12 in or greater. A peninsular countertop is measured from the connected perpendicular wall. For separate spaces. Countertop spaces separated by range tops, refrigerators, or sinks shall be considered as separate countertop spaces in applying the requirements of 210.5 to C1. If a range, counter-mounted cooking unit, or sink is installed in an island or peninsular countertop and the depth of the countertop behind the range, counter-mounted cooking unit, or sink is less than 300 mm 12 in. The range, counter-mounted cooking unit, or sink shall be considered to divide the countertop space into two separate countertop spaces. Each separate countertop space shall comply with the applicable requirements in 210.5 to C. 5. Receptacle outlet location. Receptacle outlets shall be located on or above, but not more than 500 mm 20 in. Above the countertop. Receptacle outlet assemblies listed for shall be permitted to be installed in countertops. Receptacle outlets rendered not readily accessible by appliances fastened in place, appliance garages, sinks, or range tops as covered in 210.5 to C1, exception, or appliances occupying dedicated space shall not be considered as these required outlets. Informational note, see 406.5E and 406.5G for requirements for installation of receptacles in countertops and 406.5F exception to 5 to comply with the following conditions 1 and 2. Receptacle outlets shall be permitted to be mounted not more than 300 mm 12 in. Below the countertop. Receptacles mounted below a countertop in accordance with this exception shall not be located where the countertop or work surface extends more than 150 mm 6 in. Beyond its support base. 1. Construction for the physically impaired. 2. On island and peninsular countertops or work surface where the surface is flat across its entire surface, no backsplashes, dividers, etc. And there are no means to mount a receptacle within 500 mm 20 in. Above the countertop or work surface, such as an overhead cabinet D bathrooms. At least one receptacle outlet shall be installed in bathrooms within 900 mm 3 feet of the outside edge of each basin. The receptacle outlet shall be located on a wall or partition that is adjacent to the basin or basin countertop, located on the countertop, or installed on the side or face of the basin cabinet. In no case shall the receptacle be located more than 300 mm 12 in. Below the top of the basin top. Receptacle outlet assemblies listed for tops shall be permitted to be installed in the countertop. Informational note, see 406.5E and 406.5G for requirements for installation of receptacles in countertops. Outdoor outlets. Outdoor receptacle outlets shall be installed in accordance with 210.5 to 1 through E3. Informational note, see 210.8 of 3. 1 family and 2 family dwellings. For a 1 family dwelling and each unit of a 2 family dwelling that is at grade level. At least one receptacle outlet readily accessible from grade and not more than 2.0 meters 61 to feet. Above grade level shall be installed at the front and back of the dwelling. To multi-family dwellings, for each dwelling unit of a multi-family dwelling where the dwelling unit is located at grade level and provided with individual exterior entrance egress. At least one receptacle outlet readily accessible from grade and not more than 2.0 meters 61 to feet. Above grade level shall be installed. 3 balconies, decks, and porches. Balconies, decks, and porches that are attached to the dwelling unit and are accessible from inside the dwelling unit shall have at least one receptacle outlet accessible from the balcony, deck, or porch. The receptacle outlet shall not be located more than 2.0 meters 61 to feet above the balcony, deck, or porch walking surface. F. Laundry areas. In dwelling units, at least one receptacle outlet shall be installed in areas designated for the installation of laundry equipment. Exception no. 1. A receptacle for laundry equipment shall not be required in a dwelling unit of a multi-family building where laundry facilities are provided on the premises. For use by all building occupants. Exception no. 2. A receptacle for laundry equipment shall not be required in other than one family dwellings where laundry facilities are not to be installed or permitted. G. Basements, garages, and accessory buildings. For one and two family dwellings, at least one receptacle outlet shall be installed in the areas specified in 210.5 to G1 through 3. These receptacles shall be in addition to receptacles required for specific equipment. 1. Garages. In each attached garage and in each detached garage with electric power, at least one receptacle outlet shall 210.60 guest rooms, guest suites, dormitories, and similar occupancies. A general, guest rooms or guest suites in hotels, motels, sleeping rooms and dormitories, and similar occupancies shall have receptacle outlets installed in accordance with 210. 52 and guest rooms or guest suites provided with permanent provisions for cooking shall have receptacle outlets installed in accordance with all of the applicable rules in 210.52. B. Receptacle placement. In applying the provisions of 210.520, the total number of receptacle outlets shall not be less than the minimum number that would comply with the provisions of that section. These receptacle outlets shall be permitted to be located conveniently for permanent furniture layout. At least 2 receptacle outlets shall be readily accessible. Where receptacles are installed behind the bed, the receptacle shall be located to prevent the bed from contacting any attachment plug that may be installed, or the receptacle shall be provided with a suitable guard. 210.6 To show windows, at least one 125-volt, single-phase, 15 or 20 ampere rated receptacle outlet shall be installed within 450 mm 18 in of the top of a show window for each 3.7 linear and 12 linear ft or major fraction thereof of show window area measured horizontally at its maximum width. 210.63 Heating, air conditioning, and refrigeration equipment outlet. A 125-volt, single-phase, 15 or 20 ampere rated receptacle outlet shall be installed at an accessible location for the servicing of heating, air conditioning, and refrigeration equipment. The receptacle shall be located on the same level and within 7.5 meters 25 feet of the heating, air conditioning, and refrigeration equipment. The receptacle outlet shall not be connected to the load side of the equipment disconnecting means. Informational note, see 210.8 for ground fault circuit interrupter requirements. Exception, a receptacle outlet shall not be required at 1 and 2 family dwellings for the service of evaporative coolers. 210.6 for electrical service areas. At least one 125-volt, single-phase, 15 or 20 ampere rated receptacle outlet shall be installed electrical service equipment. Exception no. 1. The receptacle outlet shall not be required to be installed in 1 and 2 family dwellings. 210.70 Lighting outlets required. Lighting outlets shall be installed where specified in 210.70 B and C. A dwelling units. In dwelling units, lighting outlets shall be installed in accordance with 210.701 A2 and A3. Be installed to accessory buildings. 3 basements. H hallways. In each accessory building with a LEC in each separate and finished portion of a base in dwelling units, hallways of 3.0 meters 10 feet or more in length shall have at least one receptacle outlet. As used in this subsection, the hallway length shall be considered the length along the center line of the hallway without passing through a doorway. Foyers that are not part of a hallway in accordance with 210. 52H and that have an area that is greater than 5.6 square meters 60 ft shall have a receptacle S located in each wall space 900 mm 3 ft or more in width, doorways, door side windows that extend to the floor, and similar openings shall not be considered wall space. 210.60 Guest rooms, guest suites, dormitories, and similar occupancies, a general, guest rooms or guest suites in hotels, motels, sleeping rooms and dormitories, and similar occupancies shall have receptacle outlets installed in accordance with 210.52 and D. Guest rooms or guest suites provided with permanent provisions for cooking shall have receptacle outlets installed in accordance with all of the applicable rules in 210.52. B. Receptacle placement. In applying the provisions of 210.520, the total number of receptacle outlets shall not be less than the minimum number that would comply with the provisions of that section. These receptacle outlets shall be permitted to be located conveniently for permanent furniture layout. At least 2 receptacle outlets shall be readily accessible. Where receptacles are installed behind the bed, the receptacle shall be located to prevent the bed from contacting any attachment plug that may be installed, or the receptacle shall be provided with a suitable guard. 210.6 To show windows, at least one 125-volt, single-phase, 15 or 20 ampere rated receptacle outlet shall be installed within 450 mm 18 in of the top of a show window for each 3.7 linear and 12 linear ft or major fraction thereof of show window area measured horizontally at its maximum width. 210.63 Heating, air conditioning, and refrigeration equipment outlet. A 125-volt, single-phase, 15 or 20 ampere rated receptacle outlet shall be installed at an accessible location for the servicing of heating, air conditioning, and refrigeration equipment. The receptacle shall be located on the same level and within 7.5 meters 25 feet of the heating, air conditioning, and refrigeration equipment. The receptacle outlet shall not be connected to the load side of the equipment. Disconnecting means. Informational note, see 210.8 for ground fault circuit interrupter requirements. Exception, a receptacle outlet shall not be required at one and 2 family dwellings for the service of evaporative coolers. 210.6 For electrical service areas. At least one 125-volt, single-phase, 15 or 20 ampere rated receptacle outlet shall be installed. Electrical service equipment. Exception no. 1. The receptacle outlet shall not be required to be installed in 1 and 2 family dwellings. 210.70 Lighting outlets required. Lighting outlets shall be installed where specified in 210.70 of B and C. In dwelling units. Lighting outlets shall be installed in accordance with 210.701 at 2 and a 3. 1 habitable rooms. At least 1 wall switch controlled lighting outlet shall be installed in every habitable room, kitchen, and bathroom. Exception no. 1 In other than kitchens and bathrooms, 1 or more receptacles controlled by a wall switch shall be permitted in lieu of lighting outlets. Exception no. 2 Lighting outlets shall be permitted to be controlled by occupancy sensors that are 1 in addition to wall switches, or to located at a customary wall switch location and equipped with a manual override that will allow the sensor to function as a wall switch. 2 additional locations, additional lighting outlets shall be installed in accordance with the following. 1 At least 1 wall switch controlled lighting outlet shall be installed in hallways, stairways, attached garages, and detached garages with electric power. 2 For dwelling units, attached garages, and detached garages with electric power. At least 1 wall switch controlled lighting outlet shall be installed to provide illumination on the exterior side of outdoor entrances or exits with grade level access. A vehicle door in a garage shall not be considered as an outdoor entrance or exit. 3 Where 1 or more lighting outlets are installed for interior stairways, there shall be a wall switch at each floor level and landing level that includes an entryway. To control the lighting outlets where the stairway between floor levels has 6 risers or more. Exception to a 2-1, a 2-2, and a 2-3 in hallways, in stairways, and at outdoor entrances. Remote, central, or automatic control of lighting shall be permitted. 3 Storage or equipment spaces. For attics, underfloor spaces, utility rooms, and basements, at least 1 lighting outlet containing a switch or controlled by a wall switch shall be installed where these spaces are used for storage or contain equipment requiring servicing. At least 1 point of control shall be at the usual point of entry to these spaces. The lighting outlet shall be provided at or near the equipment requiring servicing. B. Guest rooms or guest suites, in hotels, motels, or similar occupancies. Guest rooms or guest suites shall have at least 1 wall switch controlled lighting outlet installed in every habitable room and bathroom. Exception no. 1 In other than bathrooms and kitchens where provided. 1 or more receptacles controlled by a wall switch shall be permitted in lieu of lighting outlets. Exception no. 2 lighting outlets shall be permitted to be controlled by occupancy sensors that are one in addition to wall switches or to located at a customary wall switch location and equipped with a manual override that allows the sensor to function as a wall switch. C. For attics and underfloor spaces, utility at least 1 lighting outlet containing a switch or controlled by a wall switch shall be. At least 1 point of control shall be at the usual point of entry to these spaces. The lighting outlet shall be provided at or near the equipment requiring servicing, and 210.71 meeting rooms. At general. Each meeting room of not more than 93 square meters 1000 ft2 in other than dwelling units shall have outlets for non-locking type, 125 volt, 15 or 20 ampere receptacles. The outlets shall be installed in accordance with 210.71b. Where a room or space is provided with movable partition S, each room size shall be determined with the partition in the position that results in the smallest size meeting room. Informational note no. 1. For the purposes of this section, meeting rooms are typically designed or intended for the gathering of seated occupants for such purposes as conferences, deliberations, or similar purposes, where portable electronic equipment such as computers, projectors, or similar equipment is likely to be used. Informational note no. 2. Examples of rooms that are not meeting rooms include auditoriums, schoolrooms, and coffee shops. B. Receptacle outlets required. The total number of receptacle outlets, including floor outlets and receptacle outlets in fixed furniture, shall not be less than as determined in 1 and 2. These receptacle outlets shall be permitted to be located as determined by the designer or building owner. 1. Receptacle outlets in fixed walls. Receptacle outlets shall be installed in accordance with 210.5 to 1 through a 4. 2. Floor receptacle outlets. A meeting room that is at least 3.7 meters 12 feet wide and that has a floor area of at least 20 square meters 215 ft2 shall have at least 1 receptacle outlet located in the floor at a distance not less than 1.8 meters 6 feet from any fixed wall for each 20 square meters 215 ft2 or major portion of floor space. Informational note no. 1. See Section 314.27b for floor boxes used for receptacles located in the floor. Informational note no. 2. See Article 518 for assembly occupancies designed for 100 or more persons.